So our members of parliament must be the kind of leaders who are going to represent the real interests of the citizens. I was speaking to a candidate who is going to contest in Kagoma, in Jinja. Now, the incumbent in Kagoma was even beaten in the primaries. So that's a constituency we can actually take. Very soon we are going to come here with the incumbent members of parliament who are going to announce that they are now coming to contest on DP ticket. I know some of you have been excited about the movements, but you are going to see more movements now towards. There's even a candidate who is coming to be part of DP. Many actually from Western Uganda. Because DP is the campus of Ugandan politics. Forget about these other parties that you people are talking about. Those ones are like temporary structures. Are they called ebifulukwa? Is it the what? Is there a real Muganda here? Is it called a chifulukwa? Eh? Ebifulukwa. Temporary structures, like those people built during last funeral rites. Is that what they are? Is it, what is a chifulukwa? That is not a chifulukwa. We are talking about, we need to get a better word. We have a better word in Acholi, but you people will not understand it. Bololiel. It is called Bololiel. It is a temporary structure which is built during like last funeral rites. So that is what these other parties are. The ones that are emerging now, like mushrooms. Those are temporary structures. They are like these Mabati houses of road contractors. You see them. They have emerged along the highways. Because the does not share the credit for guarding democracy with many people. Let us be few. And really, in future, our history will be written differently. Because some of you have been getting discouraged by the departures of some of our members. We wish them well. DP is not a prison. You are free to go. Because we have done our best to keep people in the party. But sometimes temptation is very high. There was a time when DP remained with only 4 members of parliament. The rest had left. So some of you are worried. I want to promise you we are going to have many victories in 2026. And how we are going to do it is our own business. I am not going to tell you in a press conference that this is how we are going to get it. But we can assure you we are going to do it through targeting. I'm hoping that some of those who did very well in the last elections will be able to come back, and this time they will be able to win. That as a DP, we have taken our proposals on changing the electoral system up to the iPod summit. We don't agree with the way we are electing leaders now. In fact, our electoral reforms are not even in the Supreme Court proposal. Those Supreme Court proposals are cosmetic. For us, we are proposing fundamental reforms which will allow citizens to have a very short election period. Why should we spend 4 months in elections? What we are proposing is proportional representation. The president has said it needs to be studied. But we will not give up. We'll keep on campaigning for it. We are even proposing to cut the size of parliament so that an MP represents a minimum of 150,000 people. A minimum. Now you find Ik constituency, I don't know, there may be 3,000 people. Then Nakawa is probably over 500,000 people, if not more. That disparity has got to be dealt with. We are proposing even an upper house, a second upper house. I cannot speak for the reforms that came from Supreme Court so much, because I think they are really not going to change. But more importantly, we need to change the political culture in this country. And you can only change political culture by what leaders say. In DP, we have a culture of democracy. That's why DP is the only party where you can have leaders being criticized openly, even inside meetings. Have you seen it in any other political party? In the other political parties, we have ayatollahs. In DP, we don't have an ayatollah. I'm not an ayatollah. That's why you can see people can call a press conference for purposes of insulting the party president. Why do we allow that? We don't allow that because we are weak. We allow that because we can answer it democratically. If somebody brings an argument and says, Mao, you are the worst leader we have had since the earth was created, I have my mouth, I can respond. Why do I have to beat you up? I don't need to beat you up. That kind of democracy, so we need to change political culture. And now, you people, you had your elections. It was so chaotic, Uganda Journalists Association. Was it a lack of reforms? You have a wonderful constitution. I've read it. The constitution of Uja. So why were you fighting in your elections? Because of poor culture of democracy. It is as simple as that. Until people can accept that, you know what? We can lose. I don't know whether some of you are members of Rotary clubs. To ask, why does President Museveni tolerate what is going on in the NRM? Why does Mao tolerate? At least in our case, it has not gone to the level of suppressing people. We have not suppressed people. In that place, you saw candidates who wanted to contest for national chairman of the party. What happened to them? You have not even given airtime to them to talk. Why? You, NTV and NBS, why are you not calling those presidential candidates to come and talk? So you are contributing to this culture of autocracy. You are major contributors. It doesn't mean that you will achieve your goal, but you must take a stand. By the way, sometime in life, you just need to take a stand. You may actually be impotent, incapable of achieving anything. But you have to take a stand and say, this is where I stand, and this is what I believe. And that is it. I hope that you stop having too much expectation of constitutions or good laws without a culture of the rule of law. Because what's the point of having laws if there's no culture of the rule of law? Some of you can't even access parliament. Isn't that supposed to be the people's house? So what is the problem? Today I was quarreling with some police officers in some government office. Their job is to ensure security. But now they want to interview you. What are you going to do? What paper is in that envelope? That's none of your business. When you go to the US Congress, they just check you to ensure that you are not carrying a bomb. Then you go and sort yourself out with the people who work in the building. Now you turn government offices into a barracks. That's why right now the Ministry of Justice is the most open ministry. You try it, you come there. No one will even ask you what you have come to do. They will check you, they will ask you who you want to see, and they will advise you. So it is a cultural thing. We have to see that we change the culture. So I disagree with you that the problem is electoral reforms. The problem is culture, the political culture. Until we change that political culture, and we have, for us in DP, we have maintained the culture of freedom inside our party. People can come and even try to throw chairs. Of course, we can intervene. Now, you said that police officers were carrying ballot boxes. Who did you want to carry the ballot boxes? Who did you want? They were ordered by the chairman of the Election Management Committee and said, security, help us move the ballot boxes. That was their job. They were on duty. But the people who were the candidates followed the ballot boxes. The decision was made because some people wanted to come and grab the ballot boxes. And you had even seen before we started voting that some people had come and kicked the ballot boxes. Religious leaders include political parties. For me now, the most important dialogue is the one of political parties. You now know that iPod has got a big boost because Parliament has finally recognized iPod. And now, in order to be fair, we decided that we should allow those who want to be part of iPod to join. Because iPod is not just about money. iPod is actually about changing that culture. And that's why we have UN. You see, in the UN, Ukraine sits with Russia in the same room, which is a good thing. Why wouldn't Ukraine sit with Russia? Palestine sits in the same room with Israel in the UN. So iPod is our kind of United Nations, where those who want to remove the dictator will sit with the dictator and say, we are removing you, whether you like it or not. Because that's the best forum to assure the dictator that, by the way, in January, we are getting you out. There's nothing wrong with that. We must develop that culture. The way you could see Nancy Pelosi going to the White House and assuring Donald Trump that we cannot accept this. Now, that is what the political culture is all about. So, national dialogue must start with the political parties. If political parties only meet in parliament they sit there very peacefully. But why don't they want to sit and talk? So by putting iPod now in the law, the culture of dialogue is going to take root. He is a member of this party, and we love him. And he must know that it's not about me. Me, I'm just a gatekeeper of the party. I don't own the party. We did our best to convince Dr. Lulume to stay. But for the time being, he has gone to PFF. Others have continued to migrate and so on, but DP always stays in people's hearts. But we are proud that our genes are in every political party. You know, the DP gene is very, very strong. Our gene is in NRM, our gene is in FDC, our gene is in PFF, our gene is everywhere in every political party. And that is why we wish we were given more credit. So my friend, the problem is not electoral reforms. In fact, the only one that we are now focusing on is the one of making electronic, to make the verification of voters, biometric verification, to be compulsory. That's the only one. And the purpose is to avoid ballot stuffing. Now you saw a version of ballot stuffing of bringing nursery kids to vote. That's a form of ballot stuffing also. In one place, they even counted the baby inside the mother's womb. They said that one also is a member of the party. Somebody without a name, whose photo doesn't exist, but they counted. I don't know how old the pregnancy was, but if the pregnancy was still very young, then the picture would look like, in biology they say what? It is a zygote. So even zygotes voted. So we are hoping that you people will judge all of us fairly. We want a fair trial. So I hope tomorrow's headline in the New Vision will talk about the sins, irregularities seen per political party. What was normal and what was abnormal. We hope to see it. Then you had the battles. In one constituency, the voters first had to take cover while bullets were flying. I saw that one also. So, but all these are birth pangs of democracy. I just want to console you. Don't give up on your country, please. Don't run away. Stay here. Stay. I posted the other day, I said when the road becomes bumpy, you don't get out of the car. You just fasten your seatbelt. So in DP, I'm telling the DPs who have seen maybe a bumpy road in Mbarara, don't say Mvira Moano. No. Just say seatbelt, where are you? Because the journey must continue. There's no way you are going to get out of the car. So forget about good laws which are not put into. Did Ntanga Odoi announce very good laws? The rules were perfect. But I saw in some places they would count 15, 20, 60, 61, 62, 90, 91, 92, 150. That's how they were counting. Then they arrogantly announced the results and say, you petition. That's how it was. You saw it. You witnessed it. So as a result, we may have a record number of independents. And unfortunately, it hurts us in DP because we were the major campaigners for multipartyism. Now, we campaigned so much for multipartyism, willing to sign. So we expect that NUP, this is not really about President Museveni. This is about Uganda. I don't know why people want to complicate something so much. Let us put aside our egos also. So we are hoping that the NUP will sign, and because those are the parties in parliament, as far as I'm concerned. So we are doing it for the sake of Uganda. There is no reason why we should promote this culture of political untouchability. Didn't you see President Kagame and Tshisekedi meeting in Qatar? I'm sure President Kagame looked at the region, and President Tshisekedi also looked at the region and said, yeah. Haven't you seen President Museveni sitting with the rebels in the north there to agree? Haven't you seen President Ruto and Raila Odinga sitting together and agreeing? You saw, I don't know how it is going now, President Suluhu Hassan and Tundu Lissu, they sat and agreed. So that's the status of interparty dialogue. It's a beautiful idea. We should encourage it. Let us not incite people against a good idea. It will save us a lot of trouble. We, as Africans, we were colonized because we couldn't talk to each other. Imagine if Kabaka Mwanga and Omukama Kabalega were working together. The British were never going to colonize us. Is abasazeewo okwesimbawo ku tikiti ya DP mu bifo by'enjawulo, era neebaza nnyo abakulembeze baffe